Yeah, I was out in California a couple weeks ago, and one of the guys on this expedition was a body worker, and he's like, "Yeah, let me give you a session," and I was like, "Sweet." And I was just telling him, I have constant, shoulder tension, and he's like, "I think it's your diaphragm." And I was like, that's interesting that you would diagnose it that quick. And he stuck his hand up under my rib, like back towards my spinal column, and it was like, you know, you feel like you're puking. And he was like, and kind of like opened my ribs physically. And it was like, oh my God, I can breathe. Like I can, like so much more air coming in. And it's, clearly related to the fascia because it's also helped, not just the neck, but like the hip and the knee. And so it's, all this connected through the diaphragm.
It's totally connected. And what's interesting is so injury, there's several things that can injure fascia, and an injury to fascia doesn't mean it needs to be cut. Fascia with improper diet starts to become tacky and it starts to stick to one another. So imagine you have this shirt. I wish I had a sticker around here. If I were to put a sticker on this shirt and or like, let's say a patch and iron it to it, and this shirt is stretchy, I can stretch it. But if I were to iron a patch to it and then I try and stretch it, the stretching wouldn't be able to happen where that patch was. So all the fascia or tissue around that stuck together mass would have to overcompensate by stretching even more. So we do that when we are eating terrible food and sitting in a terrible posture for most of our life. Literally, people have been doing that now 10, 15, 20 years of their lives in front of a computer, more because sitting has been around for quite some time. And now we're just doing it more often and more often. So if you think about it, what happens is your fascia becomes tacky. It sticks together. It loses its translucence, meaning light can't pass through it anymore. And then what posture does it, in a sense, what's the word? Not become like concrete, but it hardens and ossifies, so ossification. It sticks together and it hardens. It almost becomes as hard as bone, but it's fascia. It's supposed to be stretchy, but because of diet and lack of movement, it's actually, you're getting stuck in that posture. So have you seen old people walking down the street where it looks like they're still sitting down, like they can't stand up fully?
Sure.
Their back is hunched over. That's their
Yeah.
fascia doing that. Their fascia has ossified it. It's basically turned almost into this like skeleton that holds them in the seated posture. And then so they will have an even harder time and it'll become even more painful. And you might actually have to even induce fascial damage and harm just to loosen up the restrictions of it. So that's what it sounds like to me. The diaphragm, when he did that and it loosened up all the intercostal fascia, like it is probably because it started to become tacky and stick together and then harden in that way. And I used to do what's called Qine Song. It's abdominal massage. It's a Chinese form of abdominal massage. And you work with the fascia, but it's the same thing. It can be painful. You got to stick your fingers up under the ribs, towards the liver, and you're really working around all the way down towards the pelvis and up towards the ribs. And that helps loosen the fascia everywhere globally in the body, because all of your fascia actually binds itself around your spine, to the cranium to the sacral. So the cranial sacral pump and cranial sacral therapy is one of the best things to, it's like a trick. It's better than massage to loosen up the fascia in your body. Massage will move lymph and it'll relax you, but cranial sacral therapy actually loosens up the fascia, which could probably have more long-term effects in like relaxing you.
And that's what this body worker was, cranial sacral. And I was surprised at how sort of, when you're lying down on the table, gentle and sort of slow, and it's like finger light touch. It could be.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, is this really doing anything? Because I'm used to the sports massage, like take the Theragun and just like on the muscles, like, oh yeah,
Jackhammer.
that's how you know it's good.